We've got a great show for you today. Joining me is Major Reginald Brown, Constable Reginald Brown. He is a special person at St. Vincent de Paul. He's our chairman of our board of directors.
Yes, and I'm proud to be, as a retired constable and a retired professional law enforcement officer of 43 years, I'm proud to be on a board that has rendered so many unmentionable contributions to our community at St. Vincent de Paul. And I'm glad that somebody like you are at the helm doing what you're doing, and it's remarkable.
Well, I can't do my job without great leaders on our board, and we've got a bunch of great leaders that come together in a very positive way to make a difference. And before we went on camera, you were mentioning somebody very special to me, very special to you, Mr. Jewel Newman.
Right.
That was a saint of a man.
Jewel Newman is a saint that just has not gotten his name synchronized in that segment yet. But Jewel Newman is a saint, and I learned a lot from him.
Yes, sir.
Growing up, and in my adult life in the community, I moved into Scotland, and he was not an elected official.
Yes, sir.
He was a service station manager and owner.
Yes, sir.
And I said service station because that back then, some people said we're going to the filling station or the gas station. Jewel Newman had a service station.
Yes, sir.
Because he believed in service.
Yes, he did.
And through that service station, his name grew, and people began to be attracted to coming to get the services that he provided. And when he got elected to office, it was just an addition to what he was doing, because he was a Christian person that really wanted to make sure that our community got a little bit more than some of the things that we're seeing today. He wanted to see us in more of a unity. You know, in community is unity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we have to be unified. Jewel Newman was that.
He was. He was just a spectacular human being, and you're right. He was a Christian Catholic like we all should try to be. He was somebody that, you mentioned somebody still giving in his name because of the impact he's made. And I think we're all called to make that impact. And I remember when I met you 30-something plus years ago when I started at St. Vincent de Paul, about the same time I met Jewel Newman. But you took us under your arms at St. Vincent de Paul, Holiday Helpers. What a great effort that continues now as a St. Vincent de Paul program. But y'all did so much with that effort. And then every year you had green beans and turkey and all kinds of things left over from Thanksgiving you donated to St. Vincent de Paul.
Well, we realized that there was no reason for us to have a waste, because we had a lot of charitable givers and donors who helped make Holiday Helpers what it is today. And as it stands, it's because it stood on the back of so many. And one of the questions that was asked often, what do y'all do with all that food that's left? I say, I smiled. I said, well, we have a place to carry it. Well, where do you carry it? I said, we carry it to St. Vincent de Paul.
That's right.
I said, because regardless, when Thanksgiving is on Thursday, Friday morning, my task was to get up, go to the River Center, pick up their food, make sure that we transported it all to St. Vincent de Paul.
Yes, indeed.
So that there would be no waste. So, you know, and we grew. When I met you there, it was just an extended family relationship.
No doubt about it. And Holiday Helpers mean so much to the community, and a lot of people may not realize the importance Holiday Helpers plays in law enforcement, bringing Christmas toys to children. We've got Sylvia Witherspoon that helps us at WBRZ now, but the law enforcement is an important way that we get kids gifts.
Let me tell you something. You're exactly right. Learning the way to unlocked that door in the community that was locked to law enforcement for a number of reasons. Some of the reasons are not justified, and some are. But irregardless,
Yes, sir.
the fact is we have to have law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
We have to respect law enforcement, and law enforcement has a responsibility.
Yes, sir.
And that responsibility is to be to the community a big brother, a big sister, a family member, and one who wants to embrace the community with love and giving back. And what we did with the Christmas, and thanks to the Pennington Foundation and many others who have contributed to this worthy cause, we've been able to make sure that law enforcement went to those doors and delivered Christmas gifts on before Christmas, and sometimes even on Christmas Day. And I guess through one of the sadder times is to find out that Christmas morning, Sylvia or someone from one of the television stations would call and say, so-and-so got burned out last night. They had 4 kids. And I said, we'll take care of it.
Right.
We'll take care of it. And on Christmas morning, we'd get up, we make sure that that family was taken care of. We've had sad occasions where you could bring Christmas in July. I remember a young lady, I think she was probably about 9, 10 years old. I think her name was Latina Walker. And Sarah Mercedes from Channel 9 called and said in July, she wasn't going to make it through July. And her desire was to see Santa Claus. Well, the sheriff's office said, you Santa Claus, you're going to dress up, and we're going to fix up with the toys and everything and go over that. And Sheriff Litchfield was a person that believed in giving back in the community. And being a retired FBI agent and understanding how life was in the community, you wanted to bridge that gap to let the community know you may hear some things that you don't like to hear about law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
But there are far more better things that are good that law enforcement does in the community.
Yes,
and
sir.
we need to look at that and be really thankful, because in this community, we have law enforcement agencies that are doing a wonderful job in trying to reach out to let the community know, hey, we love you, we want to be here, this is our community. This is not somebody else's community, it's our community.
Right.
So law enforcement benefited a lot, and during Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, the law enforcement was right there.
That's right. Thank you for your many decades of law enforcement and all of the great things you've done for the community. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more of why unity in our community is so very important. The Society of St. Vincent de Paul's first cookbook, Taste and See, is the gift which helps share the goodness of the Lord with those most in need. Featuring recipes from Chef John Foles, each chapter begins with a short story about one of our special work programs. To order your copy of Taste and See, please call the Society or visit our website. Help multiply blessings for the neediest in our community. You know, there are heroes throughout our community, and I'm here with a community hero today. Constable Reginald Brown, retired constable, retired major in the Sheriff's Department. You are a hero. You are retired now, but you keep your commitment to St. Vincent de Paul. Why is that so important to you and your faith life?
St. Vincent de Paul means so much to our community. Let me just say, not one time, even before I was a part of St. Vincent de Paul, I could call St. Vincent de Paul with a law enforcement situation where we encountered people in need. And people in law enforcement say, oh, we don't do that. This is not something we do. I said, well, wait, hold up. Let me make a call. I'd call St. Vincent de Paul and say, can we house this person? Can we feed this person? Can we clothe this household that has 4 or 5 children and they don't have clothes, and the school was saying that kids are not going to school. And that was, of course, before uniforms.
Right.
And I could pick up the phone and call St. Vincent de Paul and say, look, we have a problem and we need some help. And they said, well, get the sizes, come over, let's see what we can do. And St. Vincent de Paul has always been there. Never have they asked for money, never have they asked for someone's. The only reason why they would need ID on anyone is if they're getting some medication.
Right.
And it's the only place that I know you can go and get services, and the only time they ask you for your name is for your medicine. They house you, they feed you, they clothe you, and they give you whatever medical attention they can give you. So you might travel all over the world, but right here in Baton Rouge, and it may be different in some other states, but I know right here in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas what St. Vincent de Paul means.
Yes, sir.
It means a lot. It means a lot to the community.
It does.
And it's not just the Catholic community.
Yes, sir.
It reaches out across the spectrum.
Yes, sir.
To serve everyone, regardless. They reach out. The one thing you can't say about them is if they didn't help you, it wasn't because they didn't try.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't because they didn't try. And as the good Lord says, if you keep on trying, you won't fail.
Never.
Nothing beats a trial but a failure.
That's correct.
And if you keep on trying, you won't fail.
No doubt about it. When you started Holiday Helpers with a core group of people, how old were you?
This was back in 1987. So let's say I was probably in maybe 40s or something.
Yes.
And
the reason why I ask that question, it's kind of a trick question, because you were active, you were a major in the sheriff's department, you had young children, you had a lot on your plate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, young kids.
That's exactly right. But you put your faith into action. What would your message be to people out there that are in the 40s? They don't have to wait to retire to become active. They can be active in the community today.
Anyone that wants to give,
Right.
You can take a portion of your time to give. Let me tell you, if you want to do it, God will make a way for you to be able to accomplish that.
Yes, sir.
And I learned that early. Wherever there's a way, God will provide for you to make it happen. And for people out there that want to know, well, what can I do? I don't have a lot of money. Look at the number of people that come to St. Vincent de Paul that volunteer. They come to volunteer. We need volunteers all the time. But we need givers all the time.
Yes,
we
sir.
need regular givers because the needs out there are so great.
Yes, sir.
The needs are great and greater than what one may envision. You're sitting at home, you're looking at television, and you say, well, I'm comfortable. But what about your brother? What about your sister? And I'm not talking about your blood brother, sister,
Right.
or biological.
Right.
I'm talking about your brother and sister right in the community. And you don't even have to know them. But St. Vincent de Paul knows them.
Yes, sir.
We see them.
And that's what we're called. Matthew 25, for I was hungry, you gave me food. Christ calls us to seek and find the forgotten. That's what you did in your 40s. That's what you're doing today. And that's what your message would be. The other day, you and I were talking about a really special granddaughter of yours. And, you were talking about how she's living her faith. And you were encouraging her to get out and live that faith by unifying the community.
Yeah, our family was raised up in a community of minimal means.
Yes, sir.
But we were plentiful in everything that we had. Minimal means,
Yes,
but
sir.
we were plentiful
Yes,
because God provided. And my grandfather, grandmother, my mother, all of my family, they always believed in sharing in the community. Papa had a garden in his yard, and what was in that garden, the community could share it because it wasn't for sale. What we ate, and what was out there left, shared with the community. And even before, the community could come and get what they wanted. And that's the way we were raised. And my family, our children, our grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren and stuff, we're asking and showing them the pattern of life that we lived and how far it brought us. And none of us are fortunate to be millionaires or billionaires in financial means, but we are rich in so many other ways and blessed in a number of ways because of what we do for others.
Right.
And that's what we try to ingrain in our young people today. Understand it's what you do for others out there that counts, not for yourself, not what goes in your pocket, but try to help someone out there that's in need.
It's not being rich in the bank, it's being rich in family, in the heart, right?
That's it. That's it. And St. Vincent de Paul represents every element that I could think of in that capacity from a Christian perspective. And again, you don't have to be Catholic, but from a Christian perspective, all the way up to the person that's a doctor, a lawyer. I've seen doctors, lawyers, and teachers and ministers and others from so many denominations that are right there at one of our holiday helper dinners at the River Center. It was just a great thing to see the bishop,
Yes.
Reverend Charles Smith,
Yes, sir.
and Rabbi Barry Weinstein, all three standing up there together and to support our effort.
That's right.
That was a message.
Yes, sir.
That was a message.
Yes, sir.
And it was very meaningful.
Very much so.
And those are people from different walks of life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But they represented themselves and the groups of people they represented and let people know that through unity we prosper.
Yes, sir.
Through unity we prosper.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about my bicycle journey and talk about Major Reginald Brown's journey in life and why he put it into a book when we come back.
My Bicycle Journey, a book that tells a story. It educates, it promotes, and it also provides some leadership. Take the time to purchase this book, and St. Vincent de Paul benefits from all of the proceeds of this book. Please, if you would, give St. Vincent de Paul a call and let me know what you think of My Bicycle Journey.
I talked about community heroes in our last segment, and he's still here, Major Reginald Brown, our retired constable of the city of Baton Rouge. You wrote a book a few years back. You dedicated all the proceeds to St. Vincent de Paul. It was entitled My Bicycle Journey. Lots of stories in there, and I know how much your mother meant to you. Do you have some special stories you'd like to share?
Special story in there from my mother was, she was a humble person. She was a World War II veteran, military lady.
Yes.
And she was a very special person, not just to me, but to community, because she taught in school for 30 years. And one of the lessons out of many that she gave me to live by and to grow by and mature myself, one of the lessons she always said, and she believed in prayer, praying regardless. And her favorite psalm was the 23rd Psalm.
Yes, sir.
You know, and she always said, sometimes she'd call me Butch, but sometimes when she was serious, she said, Reginald, this is something that I don't want you to ever forget.
Yes, sir.
There's no problem too big or greater than God can handle. If you run into something and you don't know how to handle it, you can't do it, or you don't think you're going to be successful, give it to God and ask God to help you. But be patient when you give it to him.
Right.
Don't ask him and make a demand that you want it right now. And you don't ask for things that are just unrealistic. You ask for things that you need, and after you've exhausted whatever effort you think and prayed on it, let God help you with it. All during the way, ask God. So, and she had so many stories, you know, that she shared, and so many people. I learned after she retired. She retired in 1972 and died in 1992. So she had 20 years of retirement to sit and really nurture and help. And she helped me with my children,
Yes, sir.
with my first grandchild.
Yes,
She
sir.
helped with that. She was right there at the cathedral when my first grandchild got baptized there.
Yes,
And
sir.
she was right there with us. So Mother meant a lot, and her touch has touched every element of our family, every element.
Because of her strong faith.
Yeah.
I mean, because with faith, if you have God in your life, you have everything. But if you don't,
You know, she told me something going to school in the community. I left Baton Rouge in the second grade, going to Iberville Parish to Maringouin with her where she taught in
Yes, sir.
third grade. And she said, if you want to go to school where I teach, you're going to have to give up the comforts of this community, city of Baton Rouge, at Perkins Road Elementary, because we don't have indoor toilets. We don't have fans and things of that nature. We were in an old airplane hangar building up at Maringouin Elementary, outdoor toilets, wood windows. You had a potbelly stove that you had to bring wood to put in to heat the classroom. And, of course, that was during the segregated school times. But everybody over there got along and respected the fact that this was an educational opportunity and a journey. Yes. My journey began when I was born in 1946. I never thought it would bring me through the roads that it did.
Yes,
but every step of that journey, I learned something, and I took it with me.
Yes, sir.
I took it with me, and more importantly, I took her message along with that, because it was because of her and that journey that I made, you know, knowing that you never quit. You might give out, but don't give up.
Right.
You might give out, but don't give up. And when they said, you can't, that was a challenge to me.
Yes, sir.
You say, oh, we can't do that, or you can't do that. And I'd smile,
yes,
you know. That's how I rode my bicycle to the governor's mansion,
yes,
and because I didn't have a car.
Yes, sir.
But I wanted to get that resume and my post office grade that I'd taken the post office just to pass, because I needed a job.
Yes, sir.
And I carried it to the governor's mansion, and John McKisson was governor.
Yes, sir.
And I left it there, and I got a call from F.C. Doyle, who was a Department of Labor person.
Yes, sir.
And he said, you know, I don't have anything to do with the federal government, but the governor said, whatever word we could put in for you, we would. I got a call from the post office, and I got a 6-month appointment there at the post office.
That's great.
Suppose I had not ridden my bike. Suppose I had quit. Suppose I just waited for somebody to call me about that.
Yes, sir.
So my faith, I got baptized in 1959,
Yes,
in Grove Street, Louisiana, in the Upperville Parish, because I wanted to be Catholic. And my mother asked me, I asked her, I said, Father Aubrey Osborne
yes, sir.
baptized me, and he said, if you want to be Catholic, first of all, your parents have to agree to that.
Yes, sir.
You're not old enough to make that decision. So I went home and I asked mother. She said, she's Baptist. She said, you want to be Catholic? I said, yeah. She said, you know my rules. We don't flip-flop. Whatever you're going to be, you're going to be the best of whatever it takes to be that. I said, yes, ma'am. I got baptized Catholic at 59.
Yes, sir.
I'm still Catholic, and I go to church
Yes, sir.
on a regular basis.
Yes, sir.
Up through the pandemic.
Yes, sir.
The pandemic hindered us a lot in a number of ways,
Yep.
but it gave us more praying time.
Oh, it did.
It gave us more praying
Yeah.
time. And it gave us an opportunity to better unify the community, to show some of those things that you thought you couldn't do without,
Yeah.
you learned to do without
Yes, sir.
and endure.
Yes, sir.
So I thought it was wonderful.
You know, God's always walking along right next to us. And it sounds like you hear his voice quite often. With about 30 seconds to go in the program, what would your message, you've been you've been a supporter of St. Vincent de Paul 30 years ago or so. And over the years, you've gotten involved with St. Vincent de Paul. You were a board member and then an officer. Now you're chairman of the board. You've seen us inside and out. What would your message be about supporting St. Vincent de Paul?
My message is asking anyone out there, you can't go wrong. You can't make a mistake in supporting St. Vincent de Paul, because St. Vincent de Paul has so many arms and legs in the community doing so many things that you will be added to that list of things to help us carry that service that's badly needed.
Yeah.
And believe me, whatever you do and whatever you can give to support St. Vincent de Paul certainly helps us to help others who are in need.
Well, I introduced you twice as a community hero. You're my hero. Thank you, Major Brown, for all you do. Thank you for making our community a better place. And if you'd like to join Major Brown at St. Vincent de Paul, join us on our website, sbdpbr.org. See how you can get involved and become a community hero, just like Major Reginald Brown. We'll see you again next week on Beacons of Light.